Now, let's talk about some of these topics. I love some of the topics that you have in here. We have the freshman year, the buy-in. Kind of talk to us about why you picked those topics and the topic of buying in.
So each book, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, has their own theme. So freshman year, what you do is you want your kids to buy in. And so that's the whole book is just all those lessons are kind of geared to buy in, understand that this is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. We have a lesson in there called Once in a Lifetime. And then the sophomore book is called Staying the Course. Sophomore year is when kids have the most distractions. You know, they can drive now. They're getting pressure to just play one sport or to get a job. And so that whole book is geared towards staying the course. Understand that you know, we have a lesson in there about playing multiple sports. You know, there's some really incredible athletes like LeBron James and Allen Iverson that played football and basketball, or athletes that play football and baseball. You know, we got a lot of coaches that tell kids, hey, you need to specialize. Well, Allen Iverson won the state championship in football and in basketball. So we have a lesson about that. We talk about work versus football. You know, you have your whole life to work, and football is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. We talk about, in the sophomore book, there's a lesson about being patient. There's the story of the Chinese bamboo seed, and that you plant that seed, and it doesn't grow until 4 years later. And in that fourth year, it grows 80 feet in the air, and that's kind of a euphemism for that whole sophomore year. Right now, you're planting that seed, and you may not be getting your name in the paper your sophomore year, but your junior and senior year, if you lay the groundwork, you will have an awesome year. And then the junior year is about rising to the challenge. You know, those kids are it's usually their first time on varsity, you know, under the big lights. It's scary. And so we talk about, you know, handling the pressure, embracing the challenges. We talk about what does it mean if you're on JV, if you're a junior on JV, how do you deal with that? If you are a junior on varsity and you may have been the man, you know, your whole life, and now you're a junior on varsity and you're not getting all the playing time, you know, how do you deal with that? And then the senior year is capturing the dream. You know, everybody wants to win it all their senior year, and so that book just the senior year just talks about, you know, now you've set the groundwork, you've stayed the course, you've rose to the challenge. Now it's time to capture that dream that you've been striving for, and what that means to be successful.
Well, Coach, is one topic that kind of dear to me, and it was something that was on another talk show, and it got a lot of people to come on and kind of talk about it. Dad missing in action. Extremely huge, and I'm glad that you have that in the freshman year buy-in. One of the things that I believe Coach Copeland was talking about is that some coaches didn't even ask or really care about what's going on at home. And missing a father figure in the home is huge. Now, here it is as a JV coach or a freshman coach. You get these kids coming in, and you have one that don't have a father. Now, that's a great topic. Kind of elaborate on that a little bit from your standpoint about the story with the dad missing in action and how it can really impact a player that you have coming to your program, and how the focal point of a coach can really turn that around for him.
Yeah, you know, growing up, my dad wasn't there. He lived down the street, but he never came to a single one of my football games. You know, he didn't have any hand in my life. And there was a time in my life where I was very upset about that. And I remember seeing other kids' dads who would, you know, what really hurt the most was seeing other kids playing with their dads. And here I am, you know, and I don't have that. And I was very angry, but now I look back and I realize, you know, I shouldn't have been upset with my dad. You know, I may not have had a biological father that was there for me, but I had my coaches ended up becoming my father, and my teammates ended up becoming my brothers. And so even though I didn't have that infrastructure, I still had father figures, and I still had brothers, and I really grew together with my teammates. Now, you know, my dad, I really look back and I think, you know, my dad really missed out on all that. You know, my coaches got to run out on the field and celebrate with me at my mountaintop moment, you know, and my teammates, we got to celebrate together when we accomplished our goals. And And so that's what I should have been focusing on. And so that's what that lesson's about. It's just telling kids, hey, it's okay. Forgive your father. You don't have to be angry, and it's okay to find solace in your teammates and in your coaches.
And two other topics I really like that you got: encouraging others and responsibility. Because when a kid first comes to high school, my son had it real good because he was in a real small, school. When he went to high school, it just took him for a loop. And one of the things that the teachers kept saying is that one of the things that's coming up kind of frequent with the freshmen and they kind of patient with them is being responsible and organized. And it's ironic that in your freshman book, you're covering some key topics that affect, kids regardless of what school, and encouraging others. When you were saying that you might have been the man on the team, and I know that was in another, area, but it's hard for some kids to understand the importance of encouraging others. Kind of talk to us, because we have like 5 minutes left, kind of talk about those two and maybe another topic that really close to your heart that you really like in that particular section of the freshman book.
Well, I know with the encouraging others, one of the things we experience all the time is you see players who are doing the right thing. You see, especially young players, because they know that's all they know, to do the right thing, do what they're told to do. And the older players that have kind of been in the program for a while, they kind of know what they can get away with. But we've seen situations every day where, there's players out there practicing, they're working, they're throwing the football after school, doing everything you ask them to do. And then there's just a group just standing off to the side, laughing at them, making fun of them because they're younger guys. And before you know it, those younger players that are sitting there working hard, they're walking off. They're quitting. We've even seen it where some of the younger players join in with the bashing of their teammates, because they just kind of feel out of place. And that's something we kind of encourage them, to kind of stick together. And, that's not right. We know in the responsibility lesson, we talked to them about how to respond to things in the classroom, how to be a leader in the classroom, that, if you're sitting in a crowd of talking where a bunch of people are talking and all of a sudden the teacher calls you out and tells you to quit talking, your response needs to be, yes, ma'am, and then you need to take a leadership role and look at others and say, hey, guys, stop talking. This is how you're supposed to respond to that situation instead of firing back at the teacher. I wasn't talking, and this is talking about those grown-up ways of handling things and kind of trying to mature them into being a man one day. And we want to start it with the freshmen because they're the main ones trying to figure it out, and they're the most apt, I guess, to soaking in that information.
Now, this is the last question, and I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. I'm trying to get as many questions out as possible in the time that we had. I noticed in the junior year, you talked about college football. Why did you feel when both of you were writing the book that was the perfect topic to have at that branch when they're coming in as a junior?
That's really special because so often you see kids their senior year come to you and say, hey, Coach, I want to play college football. And then you're like, okay, well, have you taken your SAT yet? Have you taken the ACT yet? Have you filed for the clearinghouse? Have you have all these things, and it kind of stinks sometimes because they're like, Coach, I haven't done any of that stuff, and it's too late. Okay, now coaches, college coaches are coming to us and saying, let me know about this kid. Well, yeah, Coach, he's an awesome player, he's a hard worker, but he hasn't taken his SAT or ACT, and his grades aren't very good. Well, here, this lesson just talks to them about all the things they need to do. You need to be going to the camps. You need to be going to college camps. If there's a college that you want to go to, you need to be going to their football camps. You need to be. You need to take your SAT or ACT your junior year. You need to be filling out the online forms. That your junior year is when college coaches, when Division I schools are signing their players. Division I schools don't sign players their senior year, unless they had some wild, crazy senior year. But normally it's all done during the junior year, and so there's just so much stuff that they need to know that year, and it's really at a pivotal time for them to get the exposure and to have all of the housework kind of stuff taken care of.
coaches. I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. How can people get in contact with you if they want to get more information about the book?
So right now, you can. The best way is we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. It's afootballjourney.com. Afootballjourney.com is probably the best way. So www.afootballjourney.com. You could go to Facebook. You could type in A Football Journey. We're up there. You go to Twitter, type in A Football Journey. We're there as well. So just get online and type in A Football Journey, and you'll be directed right to our site. There's a video on there, all the information, the order form for your school or for personal. You know, if you're not a coach and you just want to buy one, you can even do that too. So these books are available to everybody.